a proper academy trial, and within 15 minutes I realized something that shattered my entire identity. I wasn't special. I was average. And that realization, as painful as it was, became the most important moment of my football journey. Because until you accept the first hard truth, you'll never improve. And that truth is this: your current level is your responsibility, not your circumstances. I call this the ownership shift, and it's the most uncomfortable pill you'll ever swallow. The ownership shift is the moment you stop blaming the coach who didn't pick you, the teammate who didn't pass, the referee who made a bad call, the parents who couldn't afford expensive academies, and you start looking in the mirror. Because here's what I learned watching players like Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. They came from different backgrounds, different countries, different systems. But they share one thing: they took full responsibility for their development. Mbappe didn't wait for someone to tell him to work on his weak foot. Haaland didn't need a coach to force him into the gym. They understood that if they wanted to be elite, they had to build themselves into elite players. No one was coming to save them. And I see this all the time with grassroots players. They'll train twice a week with their team, play a match on the weekend, and then wonder why they're not improving. Meanwhile, the player who makes it is doing individual sessions before team training. They're watching game footage at night. They're in the gym on rest days. They're studying professional matches and asking themselves, what would I have done in that situation? The difference isn't talent, it's ownership. So here's your first drill, and it's not a technical one. It's a mental one. Tonight, I want you to write down 3 reasons why you're not at the level you want to be. And here's the hard part: you're not allowed to blame anyone else. Not your coach, not your teammates, not your talent, just you. What are you not doing that you should be doing? What are you avoiding that you know you need to face? Because once you take ownership, you take control. And control is the only thing that leads to change. Your excuses are your ceiling. The second truth is something I learned the hard way, and it cost me years of progress. When I was 19, I thought I was training hard. I'd show up to sessions, I'd run drills, I'd play small-sided games, and I'd go home feeling accomplished. But I wasn't improving, and I couldn't figure out why. Then one day, a coach pulled me aside and said something that rewired my brain. He said, "You're training to survive, not to improve. There's a difference." And that difference is what I now call the discomfort principle. The discomfort principle is simple but brutal. If you're comfortable during training, you're not training hard enough. Real improvement only happens when you push past the point where your body and brain want to quit. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. There's a reason he's still performing at the highest level in his late 30s. It's not genetics. It's because he spent 2 decades training at an intensity that most players can't even comprehend. His free kick routines aren't 20 shots after practice. They're hundreds. His sprint sessions aren't until he's tired. They're until he physically can't continue. He's built a career on being comfortable with discomfort. And if you want to go pro, you need to do the same. Here's the reality check. Most grassroots players train at about 60 or 70% intensity. They do the drill, they go through the motions, and they think that's enough. But professionals train at 95% minimum. Every pass has purpose. Every sprint is full speed. Every touch is intentional. So here's a drill I want you to try, and I'm warning you now, you're going to hate it. It's called the failure drill. Set up 10 cones in a line, 1 meter apart. Now dribble through them as fast as you possibly can using only your weak foot. Time yourself. Now do it again, but this time you have to beat your previous time. Keep going until you physically can't improve your time anymore. That's the point where growth happens. Most players stop when it gets hard. Professionals stop when it becomes impossible. Do this 3 times a week for a month and watch how much your weak foot develops. But more importantly, watch how your mindset shifts. Because once you prove to yourself that you can push through discomfort, everything else becomes easier. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Now let's talk about the third truth, and this one breaks a lot of hearts. When I was playing at a semi-professional level, I had a teammate who was genuinely one of the most talented players I'd ever seen. Technically flawless, could dribble past anyone, had a rocket of a shot, but he never made it past that level. And the reason why leads us straight into what I call the consistency trap. The consistency trap is the gap between your best performance and your average performance. And here's the hard truth. Scouts don't care about your highlights. They care about your lowlights. They want to know what you look like on a bad day, when you're tired, when the pitch is terrible, when the weather's awful, when nothing's going your way. Because that's what separates professionals from amateurs. Professionals perform at a high level consistently. Amateurs have moments of brilliance surrounded by stretches of mediocrity. And my teammate fell into that trap. He'd have one incredible game where he looked like a future star, and then 3 average games where he disappeared. Scouts came to watch him multiple times, and every time, he was either brilliant or invisible, never reliably good. And that inconsistency killed his career. Look at someone like Kevin De Bruyne. Is he the most talented player in the world? Debatable. But is he one of the most consistent? Absolutely. Week after week, season after season, he shows up and delivers. His floor is higher than most players' ceilings. And that's what got him to the top. So here's the uncomfortable question you need to ask yourself. What's the gap between your best game and your worst game? If it's massive, you're not ready for the professional level. And here's how you close that gap. You need to build what I call performance standards, non-negotiables that you hit in every single session and every single match, no matter how you're feeling. Here's a drill to build consistency. Pick 3 metrics that define a good performance for your position. If you're a midfielder, maybe it's completing 90% of your passes, winning 5 duels, and creating 2 chances. If you're a defender, maybe it's winning 80% of your aerial battles, making 0 critical errors, and playing 3 line-breaking passes. Whatever they are, write them down. Now, track them for every training session and every match for the next month. No excuses. No, I was tired, or the pitch was bad. Hit those numbers every single time. And here's what will happen. At first, you'll fail constantly. You'll realize how inconsistent you actually are. But over time, those standards become automatic. Your bad days start looking like other players' good days. And that's when scouts notice you. Because everyone has talent. Not everyone has reliability. Your highlights don't get you signed. Your lowlights keep you inside. The 4th truth is something that most players discover too late. And by the time they do, they've already wasted years. When I was 21, I thought football was about being the best player on the pitch. I wanted to dribble past everyone, score every goal, be the hero. And that ego destroyed my development. Because I was so obsessed with looking good that I stopped learning how to play good. And that brings us to the ego equation. The ego equation is the balance between self-belief and self-awareness. You need enough confidence to trust your ability, but enough humility to recognize your weaknesses. And most grassroots players get this completely wrong. They either have too much ego and think they're better than they are, or they have too little and doubt themselves constantly. But professionals live in the middle. They know what they're good at, and they're honest about what they're not. Look at Jude Bellingham. At 20 years old, he's playing for Real Madrid and starting for England. But watch interviews with him. He talks about his game with brutal honesty. He'll praise his strengths, but he'll also openly discuss where he needs to improve. That's not weakness. That's intelligence. Because if you can't identify your flaws, you can't fix them. Here's a drill, and it's going to hurt your pride. Film yourself playing a full match. Not highlights. The entire 90 minutes. Then watch it back with a notebook. And every time you make a mistake, a bad pass, a poor decision, a missed tackle, write it down. Don't skip any. Don't justify them. Just write them down. By the end, you'll have a list of maybe 20 or 30 mistakes. Now categorize them. Are they technical errors? Tactical errors? Physical errors? Mental errors? This is your development roadmap. These are the things holding you back. And here's the key. Share this list with someone you trust, a coach, a mentor, a teammate who'll be honest with you. Ask them if they agree. Ask them what else they see. Because your ego will try to protect you from the truth. But growth only happens when you're willing to be uncomfortable with what you find. I had a coach once who told me, the moment you think you've made it is the moment you start declining. And he was right. The best players in the world are the ones who are never satisfied. Mbappe just won the World Cup, and he's still training like he has something to prove. Haaland breaks goal-scoring records and immediately focuses on what he didn't do well. That's not insecurity. That's excellence. So ask yourself, are you humble enough to improve, or is your ego keeping you average? Self-belief without self-awareness is delusion. And now we come to the 5th and final truth, and this is the one that separates dreamers from professionals. When I was 23, I had a conversation with a former professional player who'd made it to the top level and stayed there for over a decade. I asked him what the biggest difference was between him and the players who didn't make it. And his answer shocked me. He said, I was willing to be bored. At first, I didn't understand. But then he explained what I now call the repetition reality. The repetition reality is this. Elite football is built on doing boring things thousands of times until they become automatic. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's passing the ball against a wall for an hour. It's doing the same finishing drill 50 times in a row. It's working on your first touch until your foot is numb. Most players want the shortcut. They want the secret drill that unlocks their potential overnight. But there is no shortcut. There's only repetition. Look at Lionel Messi's left foot. Do you think that touch, that control, that finishing ability just appeared? No. He's taken millions of touches with that foot. Millions. And every single one of them built the foundation for greatness. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you're not willing to be bored, you're not willing to be great. Because the players who make it aren't the ones doing the flashy stuff. They're the ones doing the fundamentals obsessively. So here's your final drill, and I want you to commit to this for 30 days. Pick one fundamental skill. Just one. Maybe it's your first touch. Maybe it's your weak foot passing. Maybe it's your turning technique. Every single day, for 30 days, spend 20 minutes doing nothing but that one skill. No distractions, no shortcuts, no variety. Just pure, focused repetition. Set up a simple drill and do it over and over and over. And here's what will happen. For the first week, you'll feel motivated. The second week, you'll feel bored. The third week, you'll want to quit. But if you push through to week 4, something magical happens. That skill becomes automatic. Your body knows it without your brain having to think. And that's when you've actually improved. I've seen players with incredible potential quit because they couldn't handle the monotony. And I've seen average players become professionals because they embraced it. The difference wasn't talent. It was patience. So track your reps. Write them down. Day 1, 200 touches. Day 2, 200 touches. Keep going. And at the end of 30 days, test yourself in a real game situation. You'll be shocked at how much you've improved. Because talent is a starting point. Repetition is the finish line. Greatness is built in private, one boring rep at a time. Here's what I need you to understand. These 5 truths, the ownership shift, the discomfort principle, the consistency trap, the ego equation, and the repetition reality, they're not skills you learn once and move on from. They're principles you live by every single day. Because going pro isn't about one great season. It's about years of unglamorous work that nobody sees. It's about accepting responsibility when it's easier to make excuses. It's about training hard when everyone else is resting. It's about showing up consistently when it's easier to coast. It's about being honest with yourself when your ego wants to lie. And it's about doing the same boring drill for the 10,000th time when your brain is screaming for something new. The players who make it aren't the most talented. They're the most committed. They're the ones who accepted these truths early and built their entire lives around them. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these 5 principles. Just one. And for the next 30 days, make it your obsession. Take full ownership of your development. Train at an intensity that scares you. Track your consistency and demand more from yourself. Film your games and face your flaws. Or pick one skill and rep it until it's flawless. Just choose one and go all in. And if you want help, I've built something for players like you. It's a complete development guide that breaks down these principles with drills, progressions, and accountability systems. It's called the Grassroots to Pro Blueprint, and it's completely free. Links in the description. Download it, read it, use it. And if you want to train with a community of players who are serious about making it, join our Discord, share your progress, get feedback, hold each other accountable. Because the journey to pro is long, and you can't do it alone. But here's the final truth, and this one's on you. You can watch this video, feel inspired for 10 minutes, and then go back to doing exactly what you've always done. Or you can accept that these 5 hard truths are the only thing standing between you and the career you dream about. The choice is yours. But remember this, in 5 years, you'll either be at the level you want, or you'll be making excuses for why you're not. The difference is what you do today. Now go prove something. To yourself. Not to me. Not to your coach. Not to anyone else. To you. Because you already know if you're giving everything you have. And if you're not, it's time to start.